Let's go. What's up? Welcome to Three Count Commentaries. Welcome to the live stream. How are you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's okay. We woke Kashawn Ard. How you guys doing? We're here to do the we're, we're here to do the watch along. Bad Blood 1997. The first Hell in a Cell match. This is going to be fun. Are you ready? We'll give people a few minutes to catch on, to double back. Uh, it's been an interesting time. We're gonna start at about 5 after. We're gonna start the show. So we'll see who shows up and who's gonna miss out. But yeah, Tony Khan's been acting a fool the last couple of days, and it's only getting worse, really. Like it's kind of embarrassing if we're being honest. We're probably gonna end up with a video on that tomorrow. How embarrassing Tony Khan has been, specifically over the Super Tuesday thing. And he's the one who called it Super Tuesday. He's the one who, treated it like this. And now, because it didn't go his way, he's, having a meltdown and lashing out. Very unprofessional. Very juvenile. But we'll get there. I'm looking for the pay-per-view on Peacock and I can't find it. Where is bad? I put in Bad Blood and the Goldberg Triple H thing popped up with the Nash Triple H Hell in a Cell, and the other Bad Blood shows up, but the one from 1997 doesn't show up. Why isn't it on here? Where is it? I'll find it. How are you guys doing? How were you guys doing? He said 1997 is the only year I like. It's my favorite year, that's for sure. 97 was a good one, bro. I like 97. 97 was a good year for the Fed. I didn't necessarily like 96. 96 was alright. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. But 97 things just started to really change. 97 things got good. I gotta click on it. What I gotta click on? Click on Bad Blood. It gives me the 2003 Bad Blood. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch the 97 one. I hate this. I cannot stand Peacock. Boy, god damn. Was it season 1, episode 1 of Bad Blood and they don't have it? This is from, and they punched the 2004 one and it won't send me to the 1997 Bad Blood. Where is it? I don't see it on here at all. They couldn't have taken the whole damn event down. I'll find it eventually. Why don't I like 98 to 01? Well, 98 is not bad. I'm not going to say 98 is a bad year. But 99, 2000, 2001, those were like peak, really kind of not very good Attitude Era. I just wasn't feeling it at that point. I don't know. I think my love of wrestling started to diminish after 97. I think that's just what it was, is that I really liked 97. I thought parts of 98 were good, but then 99 came along. Oh, you know what? That's exactly right. AJ3 is pretty much right. It's an in your house. No wonder I can't find it. It's not a standalone Bad Blood event. It's an in your house event. Okay. Oh, god damn. There we go. I still ain't found it, but at least I know what I'm looking at now. Yeah, I searched Bad Blood on Peacock, but that was the mistake, I think. It was because here it is, Bad Blood. It was under In Your House. So everybody who can't find it, it's listed season 3, episode 2 of WWF In Your House, because it's just television now. It's just random content for Peacock. This shit is whack. I hate Peacock, bro. So this is going to be great. I said I was going to start 5 after 8. It's only 6 after, and I finally found the event. Yeah, 99 to 2000. I couldn't stand it. I mean, they was already kind of going overboard in 97, but 98. Oh my god, the peak Austin years. I was like, man, I was just kind of on the fence about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I didn't love him as much as everybody else did. Didn't mean I didn't see he had talent. It's just that I didn't love him as much as everybody else did. But are you guys ready to do Bad Blood? It's 2 hours and 49 minutes, which means it's longer than I thought it was. I thought this was sort of a standard 2-hour In Your House, but this works. We're gonna start this thing. Gonna give it a couple more seconds as people start to file in. So Peacock, there it is. Bad Blood, In Your House, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. We're gonna watch the whole event, but the main event, of course, is what everybody's gonna be here to see. It is going to be the absolute horror. This is a horror movie we about to watch. Bad Blood is a horror movie. AJ3, wrestling in 1996 was still in recovery mode from 95, only until the late 90s when everything was booming again. Yeah, unfortunately, it includes 1999, which is, I hated WWF in 99. Jeez, I didn't like it in 2000 either, but I hated it in 99. All right, let's get this thing started in a few seconds. About 30 seconds, let's say. We're gonna start at exactly 8 minutes after the live stream started. But the years where Undertaker got fat and injured, because he was one of my favorite wrestlers. So I was kind of disappointed that his output was kind of terrible at the time. Koshan, when you watch the pay-per-views on Peacock, is it commercial free or do you have commercials? I actually pay, so I don't. I get these little vignettes. All right, let's get it started. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I still started the show late. I still started the show late, but hey, we getting started here.
In over 100 countries, in 7
I love this
languages,
intro.
to more than 500 million viewers each week. The World Wrestling Federation, the worldwide leader in sports entertainment. Pride, confidence, extraordinary talent. They're the signature of a superstar performer. Add arrogance, conceit, self-adulation to the equation, and you've defined the very essence of Shawn Michaels.
Nobody tells me what to do.
For 2 months,
Ooh.
the self-proclaimed master antagonist has launched a calculated and brutal war of destruction.
This intro is
of
phenomenal.
the World Wrestling Federation.
I made you taste your blood once. You are gonna taste it again.
Yeah, this is
And like
tremendous.
hyenas rapping from the scent of a fresh kill, his pack of allies have been quick to join the slaughter.
We came, we saw, and we kicked the dead man's ass.
But tonight, within
A
the
vulnerable
unpredictable
Undertaker.
confines of a specially constructed steel
You didn't
cell,
get a lot of that in the
the
90s
cocksure tormentor
until
will become
Austin.
the
Then all of a
tormentor.
sudden it was terrible.
Tonight, Shawn Michaels will stare into the eyes of a merciless reaper, hell-bent on revenge. There'll be no help, no China, no insurance policy to
Yeah,
save
Rick
your
Rude, he's
soul.
still there.
Tonight, there's no way in, no way out, no one to stop the carnage.
I'm telling you, Ground Zero, one of my favorite matches that doesn't end in a pinfall.
Presents WWF Bad Blood in your house.
It's one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite match that doesn't end in a pinfall or a submission is Shawn Michaels Undertaker Ground Zero. I remember watching that match for the first time. I was over at my friend Jerome's house. We watched all our pay-per-views over there. And because his dad was a big wrestling fan. I think I've told you guys that story before. But look at these people. Oh my God. They all look like their cousins. Where are they? Jesus. So many people with dick haircuts. The Keel Center? Oh, they're in St. Louis. Okay. I actually like the shorter ramps and the ramp not being like forever long. I'm actually not a big fan of stadium shows. Vince is on commentary. I don't know. I don't think Pillman died before Bad Blood. He died before a different one. I think it was. Ooh, what was that? Was it Over the Edge? Did he? No, that was Owen Hart. Shit. I don't. Yeah, it was. What event? It was like the day of the event that Brian Pillman died. I don't think it was Bad Blood though. Somebody check me on that. I'm not an encyclopedia. I don't have all this shit in my head. Hey, look, there's The Rock and there's D-Lo. This is the modified nation. Kama Mustafa and his fifth gimmick. It was Bad Blood? Oh, okay, so he died the day of this event? Oh, he just talked about it. Oh, he's talking about Ken Shamrock. What am I talking about? Okay, so they about to wrestle Ken Shamrock? I was just reading Shamrock's book. Not Shamrock's book, but Jonathan Snowden's book on Ken Shamrock. And I'm telling you, he had a very tough childhood. Very tough. You know. Oh, LOD. Hell yeah. This is going to rule. This is going to kick ass. So it's going to be Ken Shamrock and I didn't look up the card, for Christ's sake. I like being surprised. I haven't watched these events. A lot of them in such a long time. And I don't want to ruin it for myself. I think that's half the fun of the watch-alongs is how, much of an idiot box I can be over stuff that I actually watched 100 times before, but I ain't watching it in like a decade. Like usually once you get to the point of you can watch one match. I just watched the one match, but now you can watch the whole show. So you can watch the whole show. Why not? They were kind of starting the Gang Wars storyline at this point. It's not as bad as it was going to be. It got really bad later, but the Gang Wars thing is kind of begun because the Nation exists. I don't think Los Boricuas has existed yet. Okay, so the Nation versus the LOD 2-on-3, and I guess Ken Shamrock was supposed to be the partner. Wait. Nation of Abomination. Unfortunately.
But if you think the two of us are gonna back down from the three of you, you're deadly wrong. Let's get it on.
Tell him, Hawk.
How about this? LLP, the two of them are gonna take on the three members of the Nation of Domination.
Well, it might as well be 2-on-2 because Kama sucks. I was always Team WWE. I could watch WCW. I didn't have cable at the time. I watched cable at my boy Young Surt's house, and I watched the pay-per-views at my guy Jerome's house. So I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch WCW. I'm pretty sure they had some kind of syndicated WCW show that was on TV, but I didn't never see it. I put a cough drop in my mouth. Forgot I was supposed to be talking on this thing. I can't eat and stuff. So WCW Worldwide. Yes, I'm pretty sure they had. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had some kind of syndicated show. When did WCW Worldwide start? Because when I watched wrestling, it was Saturdays and Sundays, and it was Superstars in the middle of the day on Saturday. And sometimes, I mean, late in the late 20s, it was like Action Zone or something else like that would come on Sundays. Wrestling Challenge when I was a kid, like really young. But WCW, couldn't find it. You know, I'm pretty sure WCW did not have a syndicated live show that I could have watched, and I wasn't watching it. Because I was watching pretty much everything at the time. Sergeant Slaughter used to be on this wrestling show. I forget what it was called. I think it was AWF, where they had like a round system. And I was watching that. I was watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I was watching, if I could find ECW, I was watching that even around this time in 97. So I'm pretty sure if WCW would have had a show on regular television that I could have watched, I probably would have watched that for sure. Unless they did, and I just didn't notice. Because what channel would have come on in Detroit? That would have been the question. Like, they were owned by Warner, so what channel would have come on? Like, WWF still had Superstars Superstars became a B show in like 95. I think it became the B show. Because Superstars was still the A show when Raw was created, but there was a certain the timestamp is 8 minutes 55 seconds. That's where we are. Rock is outside the ring. I think he just got drop kicked or something from Animal. But yeah, they were owned by Warner. So why would they be on syndicated television in Detroit? I don't know. But most other wrestling companies were syndicated because they were, independent. So it was fairly easy to find all that stuff. It all came on around the same time as WWF, so that made it easier. But the random wrestling shows that came on after WWF was an interesting time, because Superstars would come on at 12, and then sometimes you get like Smoky Mountain, other times you would get like AWF, then sometimes you would get like some other bootleg wrestling company. It was it was humorous. I can tell you that. Animal. I don't know why he has a ponytail. It's very weird. It's very distracting too. Think about how long the LOD had been around by this point. They had been around since like the mid 80s. So, and for them to still be as over as they were was amazing. Top Dog, what was wrestling like pre-Attitude Era? I can tell you that it was fun, and it was one of those, definitely one of those things. Oh, Hawk no selling shit. Oh, he just did an insecurity. Hawk's famous no selling. Anyway, it was fun, but it was mostly for kids. Like, we talked about it amongst ourselves in school. And I remember when Ahmed Johnson first debuted, and everybody thought I knew who Ahmed Johnson was. Look, I think he debuted on Raw or something. And I don't have cable. So they were telling me all this really great stuff that's happening. And I'm like, well, I didn't go to Young Sirs, so I didn't see Raw this week. I have to watch the clips on these Superstars. But then, of course, it got to the point where I was over there every week at that point. Once we really became like really close, I was over there every week. But wrestling was fun, and it was simple. It was far simple. in the early days. You know, of course, it wouldn't be as colorful. Well, and what I mean by colorful, I mean like mature. That's probably a better word. It wasn't as mature before the Attitude Era. It was definitely more cartoonish, more family friendly. Yeah, it's a handicap match. I can tell, Jim Ross. Thank you very much, sir. I'm telling you, man, this comic guy, he looks very familiar. Looks very much like that pimp that would show up a little bit later. It looks a lot like that guy who was like melted Undertaker's gold chain and then put it around his neck. He looks just like that guy. Some solid working punches from D'Lo here. D'Lo's actually was always been a solid worker. He just got a baby face. And now, you know, he's a baby face. He just looks like he's a big 13-year-old. Ooh, shit. Hella close. That was really good close on there. I think people mostly really came to like D'Lo after he's another one of those guys like Power and Glory where people love D'Lo after he left. Trust me, I'm familiar with with Charles Wright's career. I'm fucking around. I know very well that he was that, you know, he Papa Shango, Kama, all this stuff. I know all these dumb gimmicks that they gave him, and he was mid the whole time. Vince was I think that basically it was because he was Undertaker's friend that he stuck around for so long. If you ever listened to like interviews and stuff from him, you could tell that he wasn't really fully in wrestling anyway. But he mostly did it to hang around the boys and to make money. That was basically his thing. He didn't want to be like world champion or nothing. He was I think he was pimping at the time, like legit, like running like a brothel or something. Top Dog says, honestly, the cartoon era of wrestling gets too much hate in some ways. It had better stories than the Attitude Era. It did, because the characters were a little bit more defined. It was clearly defined baby faces, clearly defined heels, and especially through the visual, you could tell who you were supposed to not like. You know, somebody like the Goon wasn't going to be a baby face. You know, and then, you know, it became am I supposed to boo this guy or not? You know, what about him am I supposed to like, or what am I supposed to not like about him? It's interesting watching The Rock in his pupil stage, though. You know, young Rock is a little over a year in the business at this point. You know what was so funny? I think Jim Cornette was talking about the slap punch that the Usos do, and The Rock does it all the time. He literally only slap punches. It's literally all he does. And I'm pretty sure he might have learned that from Scott Hall, because Scott Hall is a slap puncher too. But watching The Rock at his pupil stage, where he's still kind of getting the ropes, like and what I mean by, you know, a year in the business, he's just only a year in WWE. This is like his maybe second or third year in the business, because he had that little time in USWA. I forgot about USWA. They used to come on too on Saturdays. It was another one of those shows that came on around the same time as WWF on Saturdays in Detroit. WMAC Masters and all that kind of stuff. We're watching all that shit. The shit was great. Top Dog says 80s Hogan era was awesome. I honestly take that over the Attitude Era coming back. Yeah. I think that if you had excellent frog splash. That was a great spot, actually. That was a good spot. 1, 2. Of course, Animal's going to kick out of that. D'Lo's only 300 pounds. He had to have another 200 to pin Animal. You talk about an era of clearly defined baby faces and heels. Stories were simple to get into. The promos were live. I mean, the promos during the Hogan era were great, and they weren't scripted as much back then, but there were still scripts. Like Greg the Hammer Valentine was talking about, guys getting handed scripts and Saturday Night's Main Event and stuff like that. But like you sometimes, man, you can just go back and watch some promos from the 80s and be far more entertained than watching like some of the crazy angles and shit that they were pulling in like 1999. So go watch a Jake the Snake Roberts promo, for Christ's sake. The WWF did an interesting thing with the Road Warriors, which they do with everybody, is they try to get everybody to do their style. And one of the things that they try to do is get sympathy on big guys, because the Road Warriors never worked like that. They never worked really from underneath as much until they came to the WWF. Then they started doing a lot more selling. They did the same thing to Bill Goldberg, and Goldberg hated it. He didn't want to sell as much. He wanted to be strong. But look at how the people are responding to Hawk and Animal when they did the hot tag. Just look at this shit. Now here's Farouk with that goofy hat. Come about to fuck it up. Oh, that was a nice kick. Oh, a Uranagi. 1, 2. Oh, wow. They actually won? Oh, I didn't expect that. The Rock got to pin Hawk. Wow. I didn't expect that. Great job. That was actually a decent match. Rock didn't do that much, if we're being honest. But it was a handicap match. Back in the 80s, 1986 or something like that, the Road Warriors would have walked through all 4 of them. No problem. Top Dog says, I feel guys like John Cena, PG era John Cena came too late. He would have been perfect for late 80s. Yes, I think he definitely would have been. He'd have been great in the 80s. I don't think his character would have been the same, but I think he would have been great in the 80s. WG Phil says that it's great watching a wrestler's costume change. Like, you look at The Rock's boots, like he got his thighs out. Well, not his thighs, his calves. Like, who gave him these boots where they're not complete boots and his calf muscles are showing? What a rip. What a rip. I love the Road Warriors, man. I love these guys so much. I don't know what to do with myself. Oh, he just snatched the kid out of the crowd. Oh, it's Sonny and Michael Hayes, 2 alcoholics. Man, that's great. That's great. Hey, you know what? I'm probably older right now than Michael Hayes was in this promo, because he retired at 35. That was in 1995, so he might have been 36 or 37 here. But my goodness, he had a hell of a life. He looks like he just jumped off the road at 42 or something like that. And Sonny was still very young, too. She was, I think she's maybe in her early 20s at this point in time. She hadn't fucked everything up yet. She hadn't ruined her own life too much yet. She was dangerously close to that man. Somebody got a WCW sign. We copy WWF. Oh yeah, Brian Pillman did die, right?
Unfortunately, Brian Pillman was found dead in his hotel room this afternoon in Bloomington, Minnesota, where he had competed the night before. Nonetheless, we offer our condolences to Mr. Pillman's family, and as soon as we have more information, we will give you everything that we know. But right now, that's basically all we know. And so we have scrambled a bit and come up with, I believe, an attraction that you're going to very much appreciate. And here they come.
Oh my God, Vince. What? Oh, how awkward was that? And then the very oh my God, it's midgets. Fuck. Oh my God. Oh, midgets. Oh my God, it's midgets, bro. Midgets, bro. Holy shit. Oh my God, it's midgets, bro. Fuck. Oh, holy. I thought I thought Pillman died right before his match with Goldust. I didn't know he was supposed to wrestle Mick Foley. Christ. Midgets. I want to skip through this so bad. I'll talk about anything other than what's on the screen right now. Oh, I fucking hate midget wrestling. It's so carny. I hate it so much. Jesus. And they all midgets in masks too. This is ugh. Yeah, I thought you know what? He wrestled Goldust at Ground Zero, didn't he? Because I knew he was in a feud with Goldust when he died, and they hadn't finished the feud. It wasn't even over yet. They were doing the Pillman Triple X Files, and they were starting to, I guess, peel away at the Goldust character a little bit. This was probably no doubt a favorite of Vince Russo, where they're getting rid of the gimmick and actually going underneath. I hate midgets. I hate midgets so much. I don't know what to do with myself. Brother, I'm telling you, I didn't watch Baywatch. I've never been much of a sitcom guy or a TV show kind of guy, but I knew who Carmen Electra was. Like, that really would trigger me when she was on there. I was like, what the hell Carmen Electra doing on here? You can't tell me you couldn't have had regular full-size human beings on your roster that you could have put on this show rather than these goddamn midgets. Vince, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? How do I think Pillman's career would have gone if he had survived? I think Austin would have pulled him up eventually and forced the two of them to work together. But Pillman was so limited due to his injuries that I don't think he never would have been Flying Brian. I just think it was going to be another Texas tornado situation where he was going to do okay, but not nearly what he could have done if he hadn't injured himself right before he signed a WWF contract. When it comes to those two guys, it was awful. Losing control of your foot, or Kerry lost his foot completely, and Pillman broke his ankle, like shattered it 100 places. Like, when his agility is part of what made him interesting, even though he was becoming more of a character worker at that time, he still could have had those crazy athletic matches. Like, imagine a Pillman versus Michaels if he had not torn up his ankle. That could have been tremendous. He definitely could have drew some money. But I think that if he'd have survived and he'd have lived, Austin definitely would have, forced the issue and they would have worked together. After that and other than that, I don't know, because there would have been no telling. But could he have been world champion? Maybe if he hadn't shattered his fucking ankle, yeah. But but I don't know, with the broken ankle, all things being equal, I don't think so. Why does WWF always put on filler matches in the 90s and 2000s that serve no purpose like this? Well, because Vince has this philosophy where people need to be let up. So he will put on filler shit so people can go sell. I mean, it's also a useful thing to get people to go buy t-shirts and stuff. But I think that's the goal, is put something light on that people don't have to overthink about and they don't have to invest too much time in. And you can watch it and enjoy it if you want. Or you can go to the bathroom, go get you some snacks, go buy a t-shirt, for Christ's sake. And then that kind of, but I've never been a fan of the filler stuff that they used to put on when it matters not. Like, I don't remember seeing any of these people ever in my life after this or before this. So But this is also when Vince put all those goddamn Mexicans in the Royal Rumble. That was that same year. I don't understand that. Vince care about making money, but his audience don't care about short guys wrestling on this pay-per-view. The thing also with midgets are they're supposed to be fun for kids. Kids like midget wrestling. And since this is still, it's not completely outgrown its desire to be family friendly. It's growing up a little bit, but it's not fully there. So they'll still do stuff like this where there's colorful midgets and shit because it seemingly works with the company, with the what's the name, with the image of the company. You think Brian would have ended up as a road agent? I don't know. It just seems like drugs and alcohol was just something that was in his destiny. Yeah, what is going on here? The WWF always had too many midgets in the 90s. From Doink and Dink and all that stuff to this. Vince has tried to make midget wrestling a thing so many times, man. Jesus. Top Dog, remember when Britney Spears' husband beat John Cena? That was when John Cena was unbeatable, too. Man, that I remember I think the day after that happened, people was like, well, there goes that the idea that it's not real. I mean that it's real. Because John Cena got hit in the shoulders with a belt. Because Booker T didn't want to hit him in the head, so he hit him in the shoulders. And then he got pinned, and people mocked it on television. Oh, well, there goes if you thought it was real or not. Like, wait a minute. It's not like he didn't say in the 80s that it was entertainment. Sonny was 26 here. Oh, yeah, she was very young when she started. My bad. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was thinking about when she may have started in Smoky Mountain. She was actually much younger. But here she had been in WWE for like a year or two by this point. So yeah, that's about right. That sounds about right. Nova is such a generic name. Ugh, what a generic name. Ugh. I'm getting very frustrated. These midgets are getting so much time. This match is entirely too long. This is terrible, man. This is still going on, too. They're captivated? Is that why they're sitting so quiet? It's like Corkin Hall in there. In this thing. But there are some of these mouth breathers are getting into it. You can see them clapping and stuff. But it seems like everybody decided to wear a white shirt today. Because I'm looking in the crowd and everybody's like, there's like every other person's wearing a white shirt. A botched finish. Get these people out of the ring. If there's a Von Erich movie, I like to see a Hart family movie. Well, the Von Erichs are a more interesting story because so many of them committed suicide. So, but that movie going to kick ass. I need to go see that in the theaters. That Von Erich movie, oh, that's going to be good. And it doesn't seem like they're going to pussyfoot around about Fritz either. So that ought to be very good. It ought to be a very good movie. Hey, it's Ray Rougeau. You don't see a lot of him. He's not in the Hall of Fame yet, is he? He should be. Put him and Jacques in. The Fabulous Rougeaus in the Hall of Fame. Even though they probably put in Jacques for being the Mountie. But the Fabulous Rougeaus should be in the Hall of Fame. You can't talk his talk. Todd Pettengill.
Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. 316 appears on the front and a skull is on the back with Stone Cold etched in the forehead.
The most popular wrestling t-shirt of all time. The Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt. $25. What is that in money today? Inflation calculator that shit. How much is that today? Would you have liked the Attitude Era better if all the years were booked like 97? Well, you got to consider. Let's consider this. I was a fan of the New Generation era, and '97 had Shawn, Undertaker, and Brett as world champions, and Sid ruled, by the way. Those are the 3 world champions of '97. I don't think you could do that again. You know, once those guys kind of started getting moved out of the way, I was like, they were, Shawn left completely in '98, but I was kind of like just shrug, man. Mike had a heart attack. Yeah. David's, I think his gut exploded. But I think there was 6 or 7 Von Erichs. Like 5 of them committed suicide. Like it's a horrible story. It was a horrible story. Like Mike had he's the one who went over to Israel and got like the brain, his brain was fucked up, if I remember correctly. Chris was one of the younger ones who committed suicide because he couldn't wrestle. He wasn't grown. He didn't grow up to be as big as the others. He ended up killing himself. Look at the Godwins, bro. Like those are characters right there. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the Godwins, but big fat guys who would wearing overalls and with pig slop. Oh God, I hate the Headbangers. Shit. They're the tag team champions. Good Lord. Whose idea was that? This fucker is spitting and slobbering all over himself. I don't think David had a heart attack. David had like some kind of he had some kind of gut issue. He died in Japan, and something happened with his stomach. I know Mike was sick he got like an infection or something like that, and after he got injured in Israel. But David almost certainly died of some kind of stomach thing. I'm almost certain of that. But like 10 of those guys like committed suicide, and it was really sad. It was really sad and fucked up. But they're probably making that movie mostly so they can vilify Fritz. They already, if you watch the trailer, one of Kevin's sons already put out that it's not going to be accurate because his dad wasn't involved. And I think it's going to be accurate because his dad wasn't involved. But I think Kevin's been a little bit more open about how rough Fritz was. He's been a little bit more open about that these days. He's their uncle and their first cousin. Well, that's great. AJ3 says, when the Headbangers were on top of this match, they pulled off some interesting and fun offense, while the Godwins slowed things down and did very basic offense. Headbangers really carried this match. Well, if you care about that kind of shit, yeah. But they're spitting on each other. Oh my God, he just put spit in his hair. This is gross, bro. Oh, I'm getting so triggered. He spit into his own mouth, bro. Please don't do that at all. And they're wearing skirts, by the way. If you haven't noticed, they're wearing skirts. But the Headbangers are supposed to be that. As a babyface, you're supposed to pop the crowd and do things that are far more interesting. That's your job, especially since these guys are big. The big guys should definitely do far more basic things. That's basic ring psychology. Top Dog says, it's still wild how there are kids wearing NWO shirts even though they weren't even thought of when they're in their prime. Yeah. they missed that Hurricane Rana. The production team missed it. But yeah, I mean that's it goes to show how things stand the test of time. You know, when something is a franchise that goes around for a long time, a lot of people get into it even if it wasn't popular when they were around. Oh, he botched the hell out of that Hurricane Rana. It was shit. He powerbombed himself basically. Just like a lot of people are watching the Castlevania anime, and they probably never played a Castlevania video game ever because those games were big in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Oh my God. Well, almost. He was too big for them to get up.
I don't know, but I don't know how in the world Phineas is up on his feet. I have no idea.
Yeah, I figured Mike had self-yeeted because I'm pretty sure I didn't hear anything about him having a heart attack. Because I was sitting here thinking, saying to myself, like, I'm pretty sure he had some kind of infection. He couldn't wrestle anymore. And they had the video of him sitting there like a zombie. And Fritz saying he's going to get back in the ring. He's going to wrestle again. I'm looking like this guy, and everybody else is too. Like, I don't think that's going to happen, Fritz. I think this kid's finished. Like, I watched. You have to go back and watch World Class, man, in order to get how Fritz was. And you could tell a lot of it was off camera, but he was still kind of on camera, also pushing how strongly he wanted, the boys to be world champions, and he wanted them all to wrestle and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I knew David had some kind of intestinal stomach thing that happened to him. That's when they said they thought he had overdosed, and that was supposed to be like the big secret is that David Von Erich had overdosed, and I that's just a thing that I heard. I was almost certain that he had some kind of intestinal thing though. You mean Mike had toxic shock? Because he got, I forgot what kind of injury he had in Israel, and then they said his brain basically cooked in his head because his fever was so high, and he became basically a goddamn zombie, and it was over for him at that point. But that's also because he kept getting pushed by Fritz to keep working and shit. Mongo, who would win between D-Generation X and versus NWO if the invasion angle was built properly? Well, if Vince was building it, DX would win because why would he have the NWO go over? And since all those guys are friends anyway, probably would have did the ye old 1-and-1, and then probably Hall would have volunteered to do the job to the other guys. Because Scott Hall is like, he's like Chris Jericho, like Mick Foley. He'll lose. He don't care. Nash probably would have been like, what? Hogan definitely would have been like, oh, fuck, brother. And that probably would have been the difference right there. Hogan definitely probably would not have volunteered to do any jobs. But which team is X-Pac going to be on? Is he going to be in the NWO or is he going to be in DX? Or is he going to be a member of X Factor? Which sucks. Sucked ass, by the way. What's also shocking is there are kids who were too young to not be born when John Cena was the top guy. Yeah, it's amazing how things endure. That's how you know when you're over, bro. You can endure. There's kids who really love like Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage, and they were born in like 2000. Some of it is cosplay that you just dress up as, who you think that these people this is a colorful character that caught my eye, rather than I actually know anything about this thing. Whoa, what a lariat. Oh, that was stiff. And he's wearing leggings too, right? Ugh. Yikes. The Biz. I remember my grandfather showed me this pay-per-view and told me this was one of the only times that Bret Hart would have a subpar match. Ooh. Poor Bret, right? Poor Bret. If I remember correctly, he wrestled the Patriot the month before this. Who the fuck is he wrestling on this show? X-Pac would still be in the NWO. Well, if he's in the NWO, he's taking the pin. Then they're well, no, he can't because they're outnumbered. Because what version of DX are we talking here? Because if we say Shawn can't wrestle, that means it's Hunter and the Outlaws. And in China. Hunter the Outlaws in China. Versus Hogan, Nash, Hall, and X-Pac. That's actually kind of fair now that I think about it. Because China is bigger than X-Pac. But Hogan still ain't doing no jobs. He definitely doing no job to no girl. So you can forget it. But I definitely would have been like very interested to see Hogan in the ring with China. If Hogan would have let her body slam him, I would have been very interested in that. Would Hogan have sold for China? I'm almost I'm tempted to add old Hulkster and ask him that question. Like, if you were booked against China, would you have actually sold for her? Would you have let China body slam you? Well, I thought we were talking about the Invasion era. Because if we were talking about Invasion, that'd have been the 01. Shawn couldn't wrestle, or he was out. I don't know if he couldn't wrestle, but he was out. And what is this shit? So he wouldn't have been there. It'd have been Triple H and the Outlaws. And China still would have been floating around. But I think China would have been gone in the mid part of 2001. British Bulldog and Bret Hart versus the Patriot and Vader. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Oh, that sucks. That's no fun. I don't want to see that. Oh, poor Patriot. Can you give your quick opinion on the Von Erich trailer? All right. I watched it. It looked tremendous. It looked truly phenomenal. What got me into it is I could see the Von Erichs and those guys. You know, big strapping dudes. You know, field hands. They're working out in the field with the pappy who gets them into wrestling in a sportatorium. It just looks like late 70s, early 80s. They hit that timeline perfectly. It looks good. It looks fantastic. Fritz pushing the boys. I'm very interested in how far they're going to go with that. I can almost just. I wonder how far they're going to go with it. That's what I want. That's what I want to know. But I'm going to do a documentary on the. Well, I shouldn't say I'm going to do a documentary because that's a different verbiage. I'm going to review a documentary on World Class probably over the weekend. It might be up on Monday. It's not the WWE produced documentary, which is actually fantastic. It's going to be another one. It's called Heroes of World Class. So I'm going to definitely. I don't think I've reviewed that documentary, but that trailer made me think of that documentary, and I'm going to go watch it again. Besides NWO, Stone Cold, and John Cena, who sold the most merch? Probably Hogan. I'm pretty sure Hogan probably sold more merch than the NWO. I would guess. When you look at how many licenses and stuff, and I'm not talking about kayfabe shit he's talking about in his interviews. I'm talking about stuff you can literally verify. Hogan probably sold a shit ton of merchandise. His stuff doesn't still sell because his image has been destroyed. And plus, I think the NWO stuff which sells mostly because of him, by the way, sort of surpasses Hulkamania. And it's far more relevant than Hulkamania. But I would imagine Hogan is in that conversation in terms of most merchandise sold in history. Poor Patriot. The guy never got a fair chance. He's definitely one of the most right place, wrong time pushed acts. Yeah, if it had been 93, I think he'd have been world champion. He's a big dude. He was jacked. He could work. It was just not the right time. Oh my goodness. He just powerbombed Mosh into the middle of this guy's chest. The amount of time these guys are getting on this show is absolutely bananas. Oh, he countered the whoopee cushion into a powerbomb. Is this it? Thank you. Praise God, it's over. WG Phil says, I meant Mike had a shoulder injury that led to toxic shock syndrome and had a car accident that caused the head issues. No, his head issues was his brain issues rather was caused by his toxic shock. Because there was the it was a press conference that he had where Fritz is sitting there and Mike is clearly just not he's in the room physically, but mentally he ain't in that room. He's gone. And it looks awful. It's very callous in how it looks. And I'm pretty sure he got better from that. I'm pretty sure like it wasn't permanent. But you could tell that he was never going to be right again after that. And he wasn't. Oh, the Godwins just won the tag team titles. Oh, hey, interesting. I forgot the Headbangers were the champions. Even as this match was going on. And I don't think the fans care too much. They've been kicking the shit out of those Headbangers for the last few seconds here. What was the point of Fritz pushing his children if he was the booker? He wanted them to be world champion because he never got to be world champion. So wait, they did what? So he just got disqualified for kicking their asses after the match? Oh, okay. All right. But he always wanted. See, the NWA, a lot of it was jockeying for position. Everybody wanted to be the most powerful promoter in the NWA. And the best way to be the most powerful promoter was be the guy who controlled the champion. So Fritz's whole thing was he could control the champion if the champion was one of his sons. So he's always pushed for his boys. And he's got like 5 of them. So he figured, hey, I got 1 in 5 shot of controlling the title. One of my boys can get it. And one of them ended up getting it. So, I mean, I'm sure he was very happy about that. But it didn't happen the way it didn't get him the power that he wanted, I think. But he's also one of those coach dads, it seemed like, that just pushes his sons too hard. You know? He had ye old Christian work ethic that has been demonized so much. And I expect him to demonize the hell out of that in that movie. You know, that the Christian work ethic. I expect that to be the villain, the main villain of the Von Erich movie. Mongo, do you consider Bullet Club as a ripoff of the NWO or as its own entity? Plus, why do you have people who wear Bullet Club t-shirts even though they don't know what Bullet Club is? I think it's mostly that it's a cool shirt and it's a cool name. Bullet Club sounds very cool. You know, I would imagine they sold a lot of merchandise too. Would it have been the same as like a Stone Cold shirt or something like that? No, I don't think his Bullet Club is not even easily recognizable as a wrestling shirt, which makes it easier for people to get into. You know, it's not easily recognizable as a wrestling thing. He says at least they're not doing flips. After NWO and Stone Cold and Cena, it's gonna be Hogan. Yeah, even though he's a racist piece of shit, it's for sure Hogan. I say Hogan over The Rock. Yeah, I never heard about The Rock selling a lot of merchandise. If we're being honest, you know, I've never seen a single piece of Rock merchandise on somebody. I've never seen anybody wear a Rock t-shirt, which is an interesting thing because The Rock was a huge draw, but nobody ever bought like The Rock's merchandise. The Rock never had like a huge shirt, you know. Not that I can tell. What's going on with Austin and Vince at this point?
Bring that certificate from your doctor that says, okay, Stone Cold is capable of wrestling. Although no doctor in the world's ever going to sign it because you're not capable, are you? No. Number two, another option just might be that Stone Cold will return to action here in the World Wrestling Federation under one condition. That is that you totally absolve the World Wrestling Federation from any liability whatsoever. That understood? And there's one other option.
Damn.
And that other option, I've got to unfortunately do what I've got to do then in terms of termination.
Oh, he was threatening to fire Steve in '97?
But Stone Cold Steve Austin is here in the Kiel Center tonight.
Look at this dumbass haircut that Michael Cole has.
But he will forfeit the Intercontinental Championship.
I am sick and tired of hearing about what
Hey, his own heart.
Steve Austin is going to do.
He got a dumb haircut too.
Anything Stone Cold Steve Austin except for
I never liked that military haircut on
back
that
to me where it belongs, and I can't wait for him to do it. And Sergeant Slaughter and all the WWF officials, I want you to do your job. Keep Steve Austin out of sight for me. Can you spell the word lawsuit? Can you say lawsuit for me?
Lawsuit.
Lawsuit. That's exactly what it'll be. You keep Stone Cold Steve Austin away from me. I will do my job, and you do your job, and I will walk out of the ring. I guarantee it. The Intercontinental Champion.
Michael Cole is taller than Owen Hart. I bet you that pissed Vince off.
All right, thank you very much. There you are outside.
I bet Vince didn't like that. You gonna make Michael Cole spread his legs. Spread your legs and be shorter than Owen, for Christ's sake. Who would you put as a top merch seller? If you sold a lot of merchandise, you were a top merch seller. I would imagine it was Zack Ryder was a top merch seller for a while. What are my thoughts on Steve Blackman? Well, very interesting. Very interesting, Steve Blackman. Kind of boring, mid-card guy. Useful in certain ways, but I don't think they utilized him properly in any event. The Patriot is one of those guys that Brett looked so good that they actually got fooled. They actually were good. He was actually pretty solid in like Japan and stuff, you know. But how do you feel about indie wrestlers playing top NWA acts like Flair and the Freebirds? We certainly gonna have to overlook it. I tell you that much. In terms of well, it was just no. I was about to say it's kind of like the wrestler, but when it comes to the wrestler, it was fictional, so it didn't matter. But in a real movie, I don't know, man. I don't know if they would do anything. I guess we'll have to see how it turns out before we really have have an opinion on it. That Bullet Club shirt would have been perfect for the NRA and the Gun Owners of America to do. Yeah, would have been very interesting. What's up with the Gene Kiniski thing here? Look, I like the wrestling history, but this seems pretty random to do a random Gene Kiniski piece in the middle of your show in 1997. I hate how they jobbed on out in 97. He was over fucking late 90s. Yeah, oh yeah. Especially when Brett left, he came back. He was amazing. I think we had enough heat there to push him to the main event. I think the Bullet Club was 100% inspired by the NWA. Everything in wrestling is pretty much inspired by something. Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. Hey, it's Gerald Briscoe. Oh, it's Jack Briscoe. Shit. I knew it was one of the Briscoes. Vince said, what a hand. What a hand. What a Thanks, Vince.
Turning his focus on the professional ranks, history champion set St. Louis and nationwide attendance records with the feud of the 70s, a heated rivalry with Dory Funk Jr. The crowning achievements in Briscoe's career were becoming the NWA World Heavyweight Champion on 2 occasions and proudly capturing the World Tag Team titles with his brother Jerry.
I think Jack Briscoe might have been the like NWA World Champion I know the least about, and it's a very weird thing. I just never had any real interest in Jack Briscoe. I think I've probably seen a few of his matches too. I just never like studied them. Right?
Certainly one of the greatest technical wrestlers again in the history of the game. The master go home. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to St. Louis, Dory Funk Jr.
Hey, it's Dory Funk Jr.
Dory Funk Jr. from the great.
Was Terry Funk here yet?
Bob Rustler.
Or was he still in ECW doing moonsaults and setting himself on fire? I'm pretty sure he was still in ECW setting himself on fire at this point.
Dory Funk Jr. is a true legend of St. Louis wrestling history. The oldest son of Texas wrestling great Dory Funk Sr., Funk Jr. turned pro at the age of 22 and still laces up the boots occasionally over 35 years later.
Oh my goodness.
Amarillo, Texas native.
God damn, Dory Funk Jr. looked like he was 42 back when he got started.
And held on to the title for over 4 years. Dory's legacy
1970s, 1980s face Andre the Giant.
but his impact on our sport.
Or is that supposed to be or late 80s, early 90s heel Andre the Giant? Well, watching Andre wrestle, like wrestle was so interesting to me when I first went back. And how old is that man with a ponytail? Oh, Terry Funk is here?
He is a native from the Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his son.
Oh yeah, I knew goddamn well Terry Funk wasn't about to come out here. Harley Race the GOAT.
They don't get any tougher than Harley Race. What a reaction!
He used to run the territory. He bought into the office and lost a ton of money if he pulled a gun on Vince. But yeah, watching Andre, because Andre never couldn't fucking move when I was a kid. Like, Andre was basically fucking immobile. So when he was watching Andre work, he had the big afro and everything. It was so much fun. I don't think this is a Hall of Fame. I think this is like a St. Louis wrestling history. They're giving them plaques or something like that. I don't think this is a Hall of Fame. Because, well, St. Louis is a major wrestling town. It's always been a major wrestling town. And it's not the birthplace of the NWA, but the longest NWA president ever was in St. Louis, Sam Mushnick. So that's probably what they're doing here. And to have Jim Ross do it is actually very classy. Oh, Terry Funk is here. Great.
Terry Funk. Yes, sir.
Still crazy after all these years, aptly describes the man affectionately known as the Funker. Terry Funk is a second-generation star who still burns bright with a career spanning 4 decades. This living legend has impacted 3 generations of wrestling fans.
Amazing. This was in 1997. He didn't die till this fucking year.
In 1975. And along with his brother Dory, became the only.
No way. Andre was so big and so old. There was just no way he was going to make it beyond like 93 or anything like that. Forget it. I know he was only like 46 or something like that when he passed away. But he was like 500 pounds. There's only so much of that stuff he can do.
Never shine brighter than right here in St. Louis.
Ladies and gentlemen, the original rattlesnake, Terry Funk. Yes. Terry Funk.
Oh, wait, Vince just missing ECW on TV.
Our next 2 and final honorees. As many of you have followed the wrestling business over the years, no promoter made more of an impact on our sport and on our livelihoods, those of us that have been privileged enough to make a living in this industry,
Why is Sunny there? She's not doing anything.
Babe Ruth of wrestling. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen,
Sam
the
Muchnick.
legendary Sam Muchnick from right here in St. Louis.
Man, he's old. He's super old.
Luke Baz on the right. Where's Sam in the middle? What a tag team.
Luthez, the man who created the territories by being a douche. Well, he didn't create the territories. He basically created AWA for being a douche.
Turned pro in 1935 and was a personal protege.
Heel Andre the Giant versus Babyface Brett. How is Brett? Andre can't move. What can Brett do? He's gonna have to wrestle around him. He can't even get him down on the ground.
Winning the title for the first time in
It would have been interesting though, I guess. watching Andre try to catch Shawn Michaels, who's moving like grease lightning around him. That'd have been interesting.
Fez's amazing championship run continued as he held regional titles in the Southeast and Mexico until 1978 at the age of 72.
The Patriot had the original theme. Mike Rotundo, Bray Wyatt's daddy, had the Real American theme before Hulk Hogan.
Agreed that Lutez's longevity records will stand forever. That along with his unparalleled achievements. Legendary promoter Sam Muchnick was a sports writer in St. Louis and began promoting the great sport of wrestling following World War II.
St. Louis Wrestling
Sam
Club
established St. Louis as one of the great wrestling cities of the 20th century. Every top wrestler for nearly 40 years headlined right here. From Gorgeous George to Killer Kowalski. From Johnny Valentine to Whipper Billy Watson. From Dick the Bruiser to all the legends appearing with us here tonight. Sam
Dick the Bruiser
them
was massive,
achieved
bro.
such honors as serving as the National Wrestling
What a big
Alliance
guy,
president
man.
for over 20 years. A testament to Mr. Muchnick's impact on St. Louis wrestling was emphatically stated in 1982, when at the final event Sam promoted, over 20,000 fans set an all-time attendance record that still stands today. He retired having made St. Louis the measuring stick for wrestling in the United States, and will forever be remembered as one of the greatest promoters in the history of our sport.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all of us that are fans that are here in St. Louis tonight, all of you watching on pay-per-view,
Oh, she's finally doing something.
we owe a great debt of gratitude to these fans. Let's hear it from the
And they misspelled his name. They misspelled his name. Come on, Vince. What kind of shabby thing you're running here? He's the youngest and the oldest NWA World Champion. Well, is that still true? I don't know if that's still true. I think that might have been somebody who's older than him that won it, but I'm not sure. He's certainly not the worst.
All right, thank you, Vince. Farouk, you are moments away from your matchup with Owen Hart. The winner become Intercontinental Champion, and I do not mean to disrespect your amazing athletic abilities, but it would appear to me that you're holding the trump card, and the trump card would be in the form of one Stone Cold Steve Austin.
This is our heel program.
Holding the trump card because of Steve Austin. Steve Austin couldn't hold a candle to where I'm from. He couldn't walk around the same block where I'm from. As far as I'm concerned and nation concerned, this is nation business. And I'm going to show you and all the world exactly what the nation stands for tonight when I go out here and kick Owen Hart's ass all over the ring. Stone Cold Steve Austin, just another name to me. Don't mean a thing.
All right, you mean nothing. You back to ringside, Vince. All right, it was going to be
He said that with a lot of force, and I think he meant it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that was kayfabe.
Authorities expect no foul play.
No foul play.
In terms of the initial inspection, but nonetheless, apparently they're concerned about a possibility of a drug overdose. Prescription recreational.
Why is Vince talking about Brian Pillman right now?
All sport and all forms of entertainment, and nonetheless, that will not be definite for another 7 days when the pathology report comes and will be made public. That is the update we have on you with the fortunate death of Brian Pillman.
Vince not looking at the camera. Oh, that's so weird. Oh my God. But even if he got his acromegaly taken care of, he was still almost 50. There's just not much you can do. I mean, You would have had to basically rewire the guy's whole life. He had to actually get in shape. But he was 46, freakishly large in every measurable way, drinking way too much, eating way too much. It was just what he wasn't going to live very long anyway. I don't think he would have made it to 96 anyway. But it would have been nicer for him to get for him to be there for his Hall of Fame induction. You know, could have been some fun stuff you could have done with him as a character. But I don't think he could have wrestled anymore. All these white people standing up with their fists in the air is hilarious. Then they gave him the finger. Oh, you son of a bitch.
3-on-2 handicap match we should have.
I never liked this Owen Hart thing. Not my favorite. Who decided that two heels should fight each other for the belt? Who decided? Who made that decision? Who is my personal dream match for Brett outside of Kurt Angle? I would have liked to see Brett wrestle like Randy Orton or John Cena. Like, I would have really wanted to see what he could get out of them in terms of how he performs. Also, would have been interesting to see him wrestle like Rob Van Dam. Like, would they have even gotten along? Because Rob is very stiff. And it would have been interesting. Like, I think a Rob Van Dam Bret Hart match would have been off the chain, you know. But I think Bret probably would have been pissed because Rob would have punched him in the head or something for a shoot, and that'd have been like a real mess. Because that was one of the things about Rob, is that he was very stiff. So I would have liked to see Rob Van Dam versus Bret Hart. That would have been fun. Due to the death of Brian Pillman just hours earlier, Owens looked visually shaken, and his performance understandably suffers because of it. Well, look at Steve Austin. He doesn't look visibly shaken. He's in full character, and he ain't got to be out there that long, so it probably not that big of a deal. He didn't have to actually wrestle, so. But he's lucky to be walking right now. Damn, he just threw the belt at him. Commissioner Slaughter. Huh. Koshan R, you remember that episode of Raw where Vince McMahon told Brian Pillman's widow how she was feeling after his death? It was very uncomfortable. It was the next night. It was right after this. The very next episode of Raw is exactly that. Brian Pillman's wife or widow being questioned by Vince live on television. Man, talk about uncomfortable. I hated that scene. Of all the dastardly, shitty things that Vince McMahon did, that one probably pisses me off the most. You know, that one pisses me off the most because she didn't even get a chance to breathe. And he was all just trying to protect the brand at the time. And it wasn't necessary, you know. Wasn't nothing they did. But they didn't want him talking about steroids or anything like that. But it was clear Brian Pillman was doing steroids. Come on. What about Bret Hart versus Shane Douglas? I don't know. What about Shane Douglas? I don't think Shane Douglas would have been anybody's dream match. Who decided that two heels should wrestle each other? Look, I don't have no problem with Owen Hart versus Farouk. I like the idea, but it shouldn't be heel versus heel. That's the goofy thing about this. And it's clear that Owen Hart's going to win. So why is Farouk the guy that's taking the pin in this situation? Didn't have a baby face for Owen to beat. But it sucks that Farouk was always like right on the cusp. I think he had wrestled for the title earlier this year too. He had wrestled Undertaker for the belt. Do you know I have never actually watched that match? I've actually never watched Farouk versus Undertaker at King of the Ring. I think it was King of the Ring. They wrestled for the title. I've actually never seen that match. Unless I have seen it, I just don't remember it. Ciampa versus Brett. Oh my god. I wouldn't actually like anything that would be about Brett. It would be somebody who might have been a peer who might have wrestled in the same era. I never really think too much about guys who guys today. I think if you talking about like guys today, then I definitely would have wanted him to wrestle Roman Reigns. You know, Danielson, of course, that'd have been an easy one. You know, Danielson is a very easy one. Was Vince Russo head writer around this time? Yes, he had become head writer, I think earlier in the year, if I remember correctly, or maybe later in '96. But he had become head writer by this point. That's why things look the way that they do. You know, this is what Russo was kind of at peak. He wasn't peak Russo yet because he wasn't fucking everything up. That's when he became, successful, and then everything kind of started going off the rails. But this is the midpoint where they're trying to do something different because they're falling behind. So they're listening to Vince Russo a little bit more. It's so weird that they're doing this heel versus heel match. I don't understand this. If Bill Goldberg never kicked Bret Hart so hard, Bret would have had some career resurgence as Shawn did. I think so. I think eventually he would have. But you also got to ask the question, did Bill Goldberg kick him in his head, or did he jump up in the air and fall on his head doing that figure four thing? And you know what? The more I saw that, the more I thought about it, the more that could have, knocked him out. But I'm pretty sure it was Goldberg kicking him in the face. And it looked like it hurt like hell when he kicked him in the head. Oh boy, he kicked the shit out of him too. Just think about it. Mr. Perfect came back and had some decent matches. He was putting people over though. That sucked. But he came back and was doing some good stuff in the 2000s. Just think about if Bret would have got a chance to work with Brock. I wonder what kind of match they could have had. Because Bret never had to wrestle anybody like Brock before. It would have been an interesting situation how you would put things together. I can't even think of a Bret Hart opponent that's similar to Brock other than Goldberg. How would he have managed to figure that one out? Especially the way Vince was booking Brock. I don't know. How would he have worked that? That'd have been interesting. That'd have been really interesting. Austin is out here harassing all the foreign announced guys. But it's actually kind of smart because he's getting over in all these different languages by going on the microphone and yelling, even though these people probably don't understand what he's saying. Did he just smack the headset off of Raymond Rougeau? That was a nice backbreaker. Hey, Ron Simmons was a world champion. Did you know that? I'm pretty sure everybody know that, right? Why they put him in this situation? I don't know. But Farouk was like permanently in this Intercontinental title picture and just never got it. Nice lariat. Do you think the cool heel helped? Yeah, that ruined a lot, actually. It ruined baby faces, that's for sure. The crazy thing is it kind of did the same thing in comic books. It became when the heels started getting cool and the good guys started being rapists and violent idiots. All of a sudden, Superman became boring. He doesn't do anything, bruh. When Alan Moore wrote a book where the heroes were rapists, I didn't understand that one, but some people like that kind of stuff. But that was an interesting time. And superheroes definitely suffered for it. Hey, it's Natty's daddy. Was King Shamrock really hurt, or was that a storyline? This is nation business. So where the nation at? Why they ain't coming out here to help them? Jim Neidhart. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Ah, that's why they made it heel versus heel. Okay, I get it. I get it. They made it heel versus heel, so Austin wouldn't get booed for fucking over the babyface. So since there's no babyface, he got to maintain to be the only babyface in the situation. So nobody likes Farouk anyway, so it's okay that he got fucked over. All right, and he gave the belt back to Owens so he could take it from him clearly. So this makes perfect sense. I didn't like that match though. That match was below standard for both of these guys. Two guys that are actually pretty good, and it didn't click. I don't think. And it's definitely that heel versus heel dynamic. There was no babyface. So I've seen Ron Simmons have some really good matches. That wasn't one of them. I've seen Owen Hart have some great matches. That certainly was not one of them. That was more of a story than anything. It was a vehicle for Austin to go out there and get over, and to give Owen the belt back. I wish Owen had won a title in 93 or something. Fuck. Him winning titles in 97, 98 and stuff. I wish he'd have won the Intercontinental title in like 94. That'd have been great. He'd have been a great Intercontinental champion like 94, 95. Oh, look at the Patriot. He getting his ass beat. Beat his ass. I did see the new Dragon Ball trailer. I watched it. I watched people get mad about it. It looked fun. Babyface Vader is a shame. What a shame that is. Especially American Hero Vader. Who the fuck decided to do that? Hey, who's a great American hero? Vader. The monster heel Vader. Oh, it's a flag match. No wonder it's so terrible. Oh, hell no. It's about to be the shit. This show's only been on an hour. What's the other stipulation?
And certainly, we talked about Shamrock's injuries. Vader is a little bit worse for wear as well from last night's contest with Shamrock in Tokyo. So, Patriot also just coming off out of school. Wait a minute. Sounds like you guys are trying to.
What was Stone Cold and Owens' best match? Against each other? I don't know. They was not having a bad one at SummerSlam when he got his neck broken. It was fine up to that point. Oh, Los Boricuas they are a thing now. Oh, okay. They're terrible. I hate Los Boricuas. They suck so bad. Vince Russo booking 101 things on a pole match, and they're still having pinfalls and submissions in it, for Christ's sake. Look at this look at the oversized flannel. Brother, is it 1993 or what? It's not. Trust me. Was Puerto Rican stuck in 1993 back then? Oh, he's wearing FUBU. Oh, well, there we go. There we go. How about that? Mongo, I was in a similar situation as you growing up in the early 2000s when it came to wrestling being goofy and yeah, Didn't they have Saturday Morning Slam or something silly like that at the time? I hated that goddamn show, but it was too silly. It was way too silly. Oh, they about to wrestle the DOA? Oh, hell no. Crush is in this match. Good Lord. Crush and fake Undertaker on this match. Los Barriquas is bad enough, but Crush? Oh my God. This is a rough card, bro. What a rough card this is. The idea of kicking them out of the nation and then giving them their own groups, it just made it a race war. I don't like the race war element of it. It's kind of sickening. You know? Like, I think if they did like the Disciples of Apocalypse, except they were cool. That guy is so hairy, bro. Holy shit. That's a hairy guy. With a gorilla. That's a hairy ass man. Are you watching the flag match or the gang match? It's the flag match. The gang match is on now. 1 hour, 23 minutes in. Thoughts on heel Ahmed Johnson? It was a mistake. Real mistake. He was super over as a babyface. He didn't need to turn heel. And plus, he had been in a blood feud with Farouk. He certainly didn't need to join Farouk. And that killed his character. Koshan Art. Shawn ruined Vader's push. Yeah. And we know that Vader was supposed to be the world champion. Then Shawn kind of kiboshed it by being a douche. But him in this position made no sense. Putting Vader in the American hero position is so dumb. It's such a dumb position. Just like Goldust being in it. Like, this shit don't make no sense. Yeah, it was on the Vortex CW last Saturday morning cartoons block. Saturday Morning Slam. Some people actually enjoyed how silly that show was. I couldn't take it. It was so over the top. And they were actually doing. It might not have been so bad if it wasn't clearly entertainment level wrestling that was basically Looney Tunes in the ring. It was so goofy. It was never meant to be taken seriously. But I can't like that stuff. It's too much. Like, I like silly wrestling. I like goofy stuff. But I couldn't deal with that. It was too much. Because the bumps they're taking is real, man. But they're out there being, super over the top silly. Poor Mike Chioda. He had to referee this garbage. I didn't know that people hated Savio Vega. Like, I looked up Savio Vega because I was looking up Quang or TNT or whatever for an odd reason. I was just, down in a rabbit hole. I didn't know there was a certain subsection of the cage match audience or whatever that absolutely hated Savio Vega at this time. Well, before this, like when he was regular dancing Savio Vega, I didn't hate him. I liked Savio Vega when he was a mid-card babyface. I think he did a good job. Wasn't going to be a main eventer. I don't think he was good in his position, but I didn't know people really hated Savio Vega that much. But I know it now. They hated Savio Vega. JS says, welcome to Saturday Morning Slam. We are the most G-rated show in the land. The show is mainly for kids. Yeah, well, I didn't understand what they were going for with Saturday Morning Slam. And why it even needed to exist. Like, the show is already childish enough. Why do we have to do joke matches where guys do, like, what was this where the guys were like running the ropes? And they just kept running the ropes. It was so ridiculous. Just throw this out so we can move on. This show is abysmal so far, bro. This show is worse than I thought it was. These guys are wrestling in jeans. I could tell you they look like Los Barriquas looks like a Vince Russo idea. the tank tops, the baggy pants, the oversized flannel. These guys are wrestling in, in vests. The only thing I can say is at least the guys all look different. You can tell who's on whose team. And basically that's due to racial reasons. But okay. I didn't like that it was basically like race related shits. I didn't like that. This is bad. They were doing school lessons. Oh, was it like? I'm pretty sure whatever they were doing on Saturday Morning Slam, I, I've only seen clips of the show. I knew it was on the air when it was on, but I didn't go out of my way to watch it. I don't watch WWC and F shows really. Like I never watched Metal or Velocity. I was never one of the guys who went back and watched that show. Like back when I didn't have cable, I would watch it. That's how I knew that Frankie Kazarian was in the WWE because I didn't have cable at the time. But generally speaking, I don't watch like main event and stuff. Like I watch too much wrestling as it is. People already ask like, how do you watch all this stuff? And it's like, well, it's a little bit easier with like DVR or stuff like that. It's a little bit easier, but if I had like children or something like that, I probably wouldn't be able to watch all this shit. Was Vince Russo booking just him doing Jerry Springer? Well, yeah, he wouldn't get as bad as he would get the next year, and especially, but yeah, he's booking it here. He's booking it. Boricua who? Nobody in this match is over. Nobody. Not even Savio. And Savio was over before they put him in the Nation. Savio Vega, another guy that they turned heel and killed his character. Tatanka is another one. Ahmed Johnson is another one. Most Boricuas might have worked. They were like that hairy motherfucker though. That guy is fucking hairy. He wearing a carpet on his back. What a hairy guy. Jesus Christ. He's like a human couch. This guy is super hairy, bro. This is a disaster. He is not aesthetically pleasing, bro. He look like he's made out of cockabugs. Koshan R says, I remember on Saturday Morning Slam, they took some of the theme song lyrics, like Randy Orton's voices, and Mark Henry, somebody will get their ass kicked because they thought they were too violent. So they took out some of the lyrics? What was the purpose of? I'm gonna have to probably do a research project on Saturday Morning Slam. Try to figure out when it started, how long was it on, what was the purpose of it. If the purpose was to get people to watch wrestling, it's a non-canon show that you didn't need to watch ever. It didn't have any storylines going into it or coming out of it. And it's goofy bullshit wrestling. So what was the point of it? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna get bored one day and I'm gonna look it up. Savio's fat here too, by the way. This is probably the biggest I've seen him since at this point in his career. Where you see Bret Hart at on this screen? I wish Bret Hart was on this screen. Is this match over yet? Who is? I have no. I don't think any of these people. He has said the names of any of these people. Who is this light-skinned guy? Who is he? Have they even said the name of this man? Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. That was actually nice. A respectable finish. Who was the hairy man? I only know who the Harris twins are because they had been in WWE a bunch of times before this. They were Jacob and Eli Blue 2 years before this. They shaved their heads and now they're different people. And of course I know Chainz because he's fake Undertaker. But nobody in the Los Boricuas other than Savio Vega has a personality. And I have no idea who they are. I don't even know. I watched this whole match. I didn't remember hearing their names called at all. They didn't even take time to let you know who these people are, what their gimmick is or nothing. They're just a bunch of Puerto Ricans with oversized flannels. This sucked. Top dog. I seen someone on Twitter say pop culture froze in the early 90s. Incorrect. Oh yeah, Bret Hart is wearing black glasses here. Hey, it's the Bulldog. He rules.
That's all. That's what Americans are. The Americans like to dream. Well, they can go ahead and dream. But reality is, the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldog, and myself, we're going to set one more example. And that example is that we are better than any two Americans in the World Wrestling Federation, whether the American wrestling fans like it or not. British Bulldog. That's right. The only flag that's going to be waving tonight is the Canadian flag. Because the British Bulldog and the Hitman are going to be victorious tonight here.
But you're not Canadian.
Right here. Bulldog and Brett ready for the flag match. Back to ringside.
You're not Canadian. Is there a good reason why Brett wasn't defending the title here? Outside of he's feuding with these guys over them being Americans. But Saturday Morning Slam cut the RKO. Oh Jesus, fuck that. I'm not watching that shit. That shit sucks. Top dog. I still think pop culture was good in the 2000s. Yeah, it was great in the 2000s. Pop culture was great. See, the thing is, pop culture is very weird today. I think it actually froze in like 2008. And I hate to be the guy to do this, but I think it's got a lot to do with Obama. You know, I think that, you know, that Obama administration flipped a lot of things in this country. And we were a different country in 2005, 2006. And then we were completely different in 2009. You know, 2010, completely different. 11, 12, 13, completely different. You know, certain things you couldn't do anymore, certain things you couldn't say anymore. You know, the country just became, I don't know, it became really bad. And like, I don't want to say 2008 exactly, but it was in that era. But somewhere between 2008 and 2012, things hit a skid, and we've been stuck in that ever since. You know, we haven't gotten past the Obama administration. The Los Boricuas theme song was the back. I couldn't even hear it because I. 21,000? There ain't no 21,000 people in that building.
Foundation, we've had our problems. We go round and round. But tonight, I go to the ring with every intention of settling this thing once and for all. Big man, you've got my word. But I'll do anything and everything it takes to get it done tonight. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Ain't that a bunch of bull? We don't like big mouth Canadians, trash talking Americans. And tonight, together, we will play the pain game. Where it is, Vader time.
I love Vader.
All right, here we go. Thank you guys.
But he just said bullshit. Come on. We apologize for his harsh language. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. Shut up. He said the word shit. God, come on. They say shit on TV now. And it's PG. Oh, it's the Patriot. Dale Wilkes. You know goddamn well he wasn't drug testing that guy. Look at his arms, for Christ's sake. How could he? I've never been a big fan of masks that affect how you talk. And that mask is definitely affecting how he talks. But he looks like a fucking superhero. Look at this fucking guy. What a unit. Invader rules. He just miscast as an all-American babyface. Top dog. I say 2016. Trump broke the SJWs. Things were still political incorrect in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Yes, but I think political correctness has always been there. You know, there's always been an element of political correctness, but it took over, I think, in the Obama years, because then there became the push. Like I don't think there were SJWs before Obama. There were liberals and they were annoying, but there were not SJWs. Like the constant complaining, the professional complainers. Let's put it like that. All the people who made it their business to get paid off of making everything that you like terrible. Gamergate broke their brain. That kind of stuff. Like there was no shit like that before Obama. You know, like could you have amazing? Just think about them trying to pull off a Gamergate in like 2004. They had been laughed out of the building. There would have been episodes of Law and Order and SVU making fun of Anita Sarkeesian if she'd have tried that shit in like 98. But here it is in 2018 or whatever, and it's the most important thing to ever happen in everybody's life all of a sudden. It was shit, man. It was terrible. The Obama worshiping, but then it wasn't just like the Obama worshiping and entertainment that ruined everything. It was the professional activist class, because now you had essentially a professional activist as president, and we had already lionized activism way too much, especially in the black community. We had already lionized that stuff way too much. But then when you get into the professional activist class, it got really bad. And they ruined entertainment completely. But they tried in the 90s. They tried in the 80s. They tried in the early 2000s. And it just never worked out. But it was something about 2008, 2009, where the professional activist class finally got enough, they just got enough of a push that they could start getting things taken down and started forcing video games to change and wrestling to change. And, we used to laugh a lot of people in their stupid complaints. We used to laugh those people out of the building. Like that whole thing with MJF and Juice Robinson. If it was 2006, nobody would have given a fuck. I can tell you that right now. If it was 98, people would have been like, "Oh, that's hilarious." But it's instead 2023, and people are, I don't know, it's been 4 days on this subject already. Well, it ain't been 4 days because it ain't been that long, but they're going to spend, like, Fox News is talking about it. Like, why do Fox News care about what's going on a wrestling show? Why do they give a fuck? But it's the professional activist class. And it's not just them, they're just part of the issue. Another part of the issue is how the internet has changed. Everything is all about clicks and outrage culture and all this kind of stuff. Looking for reasons to upset people and piss people off. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of we were a better people and a stronger culture when people were not as offended by little things, and there were not professional activists behind every rock, listening to every word you say, ready to try to destroy your life. Bro, I'm never going to get off that Gamergate episode of SVU, bro. That was a cultural highlight to me. I remember when I first saw that shit, man. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is not that important, bro. Like I was dumbfounded. In like certain moments, and it's like weird things in culture that stick out to me as being moments where I was like, okay. I see how the world has changed. Lupe Fiasco getting canceled was a big moment for me, you know, especially as somebody who voted for Obama. I was like, we can't do what now, you know, and that opened my eyes to a lot, you know, because it became pretty clear to me that I had been listening to hip hop. Ooh, excuse me. I had been listening to rappers talk about politics for pretty much my entire life. You know, you could listen to Ice Cube talk about Bush and talk about how terrible Bush was and how terrible Reagan was, and you know, mocking Bill Clinton a little bit. And then we get to Obama, and you can't say nothing negative about Obama. You know, you got people, my president black, my Lambo blue, and I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody, you know, even Nas, he was making woke music anyway, but he came out the nigger album, and I'm like, oh, okay, we can't criticize Obama. Look at the Vader jabs, though, bro. They obviously not making any contact, but they're doing a great job of working them. But what was I saying? I forgot. I got mesmerized by by Vader's punches. Koshan, I remember these shotgun Saturday night when Sonny was making out with Elmo. It was Ty Pettengill in the costume. I was pretty sure it was Ty Pettengill, but I never seen anybody confirm it. JS blames Twitter and Facebook and MySpace, but Twitter allowed all these bad ideologies to spread because any idiot can type a sentence and send it to the world. You know what? That's pretty good because Facebook is still kind of personal. Where people say stupid things on Facebook, it's still not a thing that everybody sees. You can create your own little cocoon on Facebook. MySpace, I never had MySpace, so I don't know how it works. But Twitter, yeah, you can start seeing things from people you didn't even know, and you started seeing things from people you don't even follow, and so Twitter did help. I think Twitter helped ruin the world. We were not all meant to know everything about everybody. So the internet in general was a bad idea, but Twitter didn't help the world at all. Well, I guess you can't say it didn't help. It helped a little bit. It didn't, but it didn't work out. Top Dog thinks it happened more in his second term. His first term was politically incorrect, and it was about partying. I don't know. I think once the professional activist class was empowered by like the gay White House and all this kind of stuff, we took a turn for the worse culturally, where you know now we were all about empowering because it almost immediately became okay, we got a black man as president. Now it's about women. Now it's about gays. Now it's about everybody who might be offended about something. There was always people who were overly sensitive about pieces of media, you know, but it was never as bad as it is now. It's horrible now, bro. You know, like I said, there are people who are you basically got to play the Price is Right. You know, not the Price is Right. Wheel of Fortune with words on Twitter now because they're not spelling out the word killed. Like, you know, just to give you a good example, they've been talking about, you know, beheaded babies in Israel. And I have no interest in seeing 40 beheaded babies. I have no interest in that. But there was a conversation that was being had about whether these 40 babies were killed or not. And it was just like a meme that they didn't want to spell out the word beheaded. So there's like B star star H star star star. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, if I didn't know what you were talking about, I wouldn't know what the hell this was. You know, like this sucks, bro. You know, I can't. You can't even read shit anymore. You know, and it's people on both sides of the aisle doing it. There's libertarians doing that dumb shit. You know, I don't. It doesn't make sense, and I think that it came from the fact that they started monetizing tweets and they're monetizing stuff on YouTube. So now there's an excessive amount of censorship, and so they used to censor things to get around conversations. Like people who started wanting to have conversations about Jews, they would do JUWS, okay, just to get around you using the word Jew. Because if you use the word Jew, it might piss people off. You might get somebody might actually look it up and yada yada yada. But nowadays, bro, it's like you have to guess what people are talking about nowadays. And I think part of it is the monetization element of it. Because the monetization element puts you in the same position that, people have been in for a while, where you have to have a certain kind of content in order to make money. This sharpshooter is terrible. But then again, it's a counter, so and it's not really his normal move. I loves me some Bulldog. I likes me some Vader. The Patriot's okay. He's an absolute unit. Brett's the GOAT. But this is not working out. I don't know what they're doing. I'm kind of confused. There were segments of John Cena calling or implying that The Rock was gay in 2011. You couldn't say or do that in 2023. Yeah, you would get called out if you were implying that being gay is a negative. Which is, I don't know. Look, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Social media sucks. You can't. Somebody once told me that Twitter was preparing you for not being for having a low attention span because it was only 150 characters. So, of course, people are not going to read a book. They read Twitter all day. They get bored and they go over to something else. And I was thinking the same thing about TikTok. That TikTok videos are going to end up killing like TV and movies and stuff because people don't take in long form content anymore. It's all memes. 40 seconds, 35 seconds. Now, that's not entirely true. We haven't gotten there yet. But we also haven't had an entire generation of kids grow up on TikTok yet. Like, so, maybe in another 10 years, we'll see how that turns out. So, but I think that's part of the Twitter conversation is people who are the undying need for attention. I think part of that is the Twitter conversation. To get more followers, you have to say more outrageous things, and sometimes that includes being offended or upset. Looking for reasons to be upset. I used to hate when Vince used to do that. Oh, he's got that victory. He's already kicked out, Vince. What are you talking about, man? The match ain't nowhere near over. What? What do you mean he's tall enough to get it without climbing? JR, you got eyes? Oh, I hate this flag match. I don't hate it a lot, but I'm not a fan. I would rather Brett had wrestled the Patriot again or had wrestled Vader. Bulldog should have been like doing something else on this show. You could have got rid of Los Barriquas. Thoughts on WWE calling Cena the GOAT? I disagree. I think it's Hogan. Whatever. I don't overthink it. When it comes to them saying what they say about John Cena, I don't know. What are they basing it on? Where did it come from? That's what I want to know. Like, where did it come from? Koshan R. Mongo, what would you do with Karrion Kross's character to not make him stale? For starters, I would put him on TV. Has he been on TV in the last 2 months? When was the last time Karrion Kross was on television? I know that he did a thing where he was watching John Cena, but he was not going to work with John Cena. I just think that part of it also is SmackDown has become, damn, Brett not, oh, he eventually sold those punches. I'm going to say Brett not selling these punches is great. I think it's part of it is just the main event situation on SmackDown is basically Roman, and then you've got a bunch of other people. So he can only go so far in the main event situation on SmackDown. I think he'd probably be better off on Raw. His match with AJ Styles, when was that? Yeah, it had to be at least August. I know he ain't been there in over a month. You know? So, and he ain't been on pay-per-view at all. He never made a pay-per-view appearance at all. Dexter Lumis, yeah, same thing. Interestingly enough, I just saw the story that he was supposed to work with he being Karrion Kross. Pronouns, pal. He was supposed to work with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. That was interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if I would have liked that, but I would have wanted. But I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Dexter Lumis, I don't like anyway, so I don't know. Bulldog, you know that you're a tag team specialist, former tag team champion. You know tags don't work this way. How is that a legal tag? He was in the middle rope. That is not a legal tag, sir. I guess Kyoto don't care. He don't give a fuck. Just get out of the ring, Brett. I like the Patriots mask. That much is sure. You know what? You are correct. They were building up to Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. But they did this. Well, yeah, you're right. And then what's the name? Never came back. Bray Wyatt. He never came back. But I'm guessing that what he was talking about was maybe before the decision was made to go with Bobby Lashley, because both of them were heels anyway. You know, they both were heels anyway. So, well, no, actually, no, he wasn't, because Lashley was the heel. No, Lashley was the face, and Wyatt was the heel. No, because Wyatt was the face, yeah, because he was the face against LA Knight, and then he was going to be the face also against Bobby Lashley. We're going to talk about we can talk about Tony Khan tomorrow. You know, I honestly was about to spend some time making that video today. We'll see if it actually gets made or not. I may have some time tomorrow to do it, but we'll see. But I do want to talk about Tony Khan and his behavior. I do want to do a video on that. I also don't want to be up all night either, so we'll see how it goes. But I also didn't want to cancel the watch along. I got distracted doing other things. I could have been making a video, but I had to make dinner. And it took longer than I thought it would. I got volume 10 of Fist of the North Star, and I can't get through it for some reason. I always liked the Bulldogs clothesline. That was a pretty good one. Patriot didn't sell it worth shit, but it was okay. I don't know. I think Triple H is, yeah, it is what it is. Just, you know, it is what it is on that regard. Tony Khan has really made himself some enemies on Twitter. And I really wish he hadn't. What? He landed on his feet. That's amazing, bro. It was. That was tremendous. Vader is openly talking to Brett, and because Brett's doing something wrong. But they clearly was talking over their next spot. It was pretty clear. I don't know. I don't know if I would have preferred Shane. I don't think I would have been interested in Shane's ideas because we saw Triple H's ideas in NXT. I would have been interested in seeing what Shane would have done. I'm not. Stephanie can run the business part, but I have no interest in her seeing her do anything creative. Yeah, Brock randomly facing Omos because he figured, hey, if I can wrestle the big guy, it'd be great. It's good for me, I get to F5 the big guy. Ooh. Is this match no disqualification? Oh, he just nailed him with that. But it didn't say that there was disqualification. You see how he put it back and placed it back so nicely, like it had never moved? Get out of town. Why is Vader on his feet? He just got hit in the head with a bell. He should be on the floor. I guess Bulldog picked him up, but why? Why did you do that? Just let him lay there. The crowd is not excited about this. The crowd does not care about this at all. And part of it is because this match is so long. He just body slammed Vader like he wasn't shit. Brett working this match right at this point in time like it is like 4 minutes in, and we're like 15 minutes in. I need Brett to pick up the pace. I'm gonna need you to pick up the pace, Brett. Well, okay, but he still should defend the title here. I'm sorry, he should. I know he probably didn't want to be in a mid card thing with Patriot and all that, but yeah, they definitely could have found him somebody better to wrestle than these people. And not even that Vader's a bad opponent. He definitely could have had some really good matches with Vader if he'd have wrestled Vader. Okay, the crowd woke now. Is he going to tag out? There we go. No hot tag. Nobody cheered for Del Wilkes. What was that? The keel center. Oh, the pump handle slam. Well, I'm sorry, the full Nelson slam. I always liked that move. I liked it when Test did it too. Who is that? There's a fan in the ring? What on earth? Get that kid out of here. What was that about? And Bulldog got his kicks in, I guess. Vader bomb. Ooh. Oh shit! I forgot when Bobby Lashley won. I was wondering who won the Andre. I thought it was Jey Uso, but that was last year, right? I know Jey Uso won the Andre. I think it was for WrestleMania 38. Yeah, why did Bobby Lashley win that random battle royal announcer? Oh, he won by pinfall. Oh. In a match where you didn't have to lose by pin, they pinned him. Jesus Christ. End this thing. Get this thing over with, please. And the babyface is attacking him after the match. Travis Tippins still can't believe Test died of age of 33. Didn't he kill himself? Wait, so when did Jay win? Was it 37? I know Jay Uso won the money, the Andre. I think it was 37 then. If he didn't win 38. Okay, it was 37. Madcap Moss. I fucking forgot he even won that thing. Ever since they moved it to SmackDown, it's been a mess. Oh, look at how disappointed they are. Vince, bring back Jesse Ventura. Well, interesting thing that. What is this?
More than to belong. It's a matter of survival. Presents the WWF Survivor Series. Gang Rules live on pay-per-view. Receive a free official dog tag when you mail in your cable bill indicating purchase of Survivor Series.
Gang Rules with no E, just RULZ. You know it's the 90s. And it was probably a Vince Russo idea. He called it an extravaganza. Oh, baby. Here we go. It's Hell in a Cell time, baby. 2 hours, 4 minutes into the show. This has been a dreadful pay-per-view. Absolutely dreadful. Los Barriquas was on this show. Midgets were on this show. Bret Hart stuffed into a nothing tag team flag match that ended in pinfall. The Godwins were on here. The Headbangers still wearing dresses. Test died of an accidental overdose. And he had CTE. So who am I thinking of that killed him? Oh, that's Mike Awesome. Never mind. Mike Awesome was related to Hulk Hogan. Did you know that? He is a cousin of Hulk Hogan's nephew, Horace Hogan. Did AEW drop the Who Attacked Jay White storyline? Because I haven't seen it mentioned since. Well, they mentioned it because they're blaming MJF for it. But other than that, no.
Your illustrious career on the line in moments, because only one man is going to walk out of the Hell in a Cell. Best I can tell, good news, there's some bad news. The good news is this match is not for my coveted European Championship. That will stay around the waist of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Him mocking having the European title that he didn't need to win, that he took off Bulldog because he's an asshole.
Well, there is one way. Through a locked door. Once I get in, once Undertaker gets in, it'll be locked behind me. Troops. Think I'm gonna have to go this one alone. If it weren't for my wonderful athletic ability, the fact that I'm tougher than nails, the fact that I'm the man here in the World Wrestling Federation, the fact that I'm the showstopper, the headliner, the main event, is the only thing that's going to get me through this. That, and the fact that I am the most tenacious man in the World Wrestling Federation, and the fact of the matter is, ain't nobody crazy enough to do
Rick
this.
Rude is trying his best not to smile as Shawn Michaels is going through this bullshit in front of him right here.
I am the number one guy in this business.
Because he definitely wants to smile as Shawn is sitting here horse shit.
With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know. Triple H was about to say something and they cut him off. I was watching Rick Rude during that whole thing, and his facial expression was he was trying to keep a stone face, but as Shawn is just dumping more shit on him, he's trying not to laugh. He successfully got through it, but for Christ's sake, if he'd have let Shawn go another 30 seconds, Rick Rude probably would have laughed.
Just something again. It's just about stirring the pot.
Oh yeah, the Hayabusa botch was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I hate that. I wouldn't say I was a big fan of Hayabusa, but that's a classic wrestling promo. You talk soft and then you start yelling. That's classic wrestling promo. I love it. I love it when guys do that. Sid was the master of it. So was Randy Savage. There's a lot of talk about Shawn Michaels in this show.
All of the fans of the World Wrestling Federation are dumping this in my lap. It's just like all the fans of the World Wrestling Federation to not take responsibility for themselves and pass the buck on to the Heartbreak Kid. Because everybody knows I don't give a damn what anybody thinks of me.
His actions have spoken even louder than his words. But both have been ferociously delivered towards one man.
That's the great thing about the WWF. They do video packages that will catch you up. So if you only watch this and you didn't watch anything else, you can follow the story. You see that Shawn Michaels is being a dickhead. He went from being a babyface to being a heel. He's an asshole. He's been beating Undertaker with chairs for weeks. 2 hours, 9 minutes, 23 seconds.
Things out around the cell and making sure that the flashlight.
2 hours, 9 minutes, 33 seconds. WG Phil. They got a flashlight there under the ring. Come on, stop being suspicious. But this actually adds to the drama because Kane doesn't come from under the ring. So Sergeant Slaughter is like, yep, that's all right. You can bring it down. You can bring it down now. Okay, thanks. This could be the last time you see Shawn Michaels. He's about to get his ass beat. About to get his shit kicked in for 30 minutes here. Here comes Triple H. He's in that mid spot. So mid. He's transforming from one gimmick to another. But he's still got so many remnants of the other gimmicks still going on here. The European title is main. Well, it's not a title match, but the European champion is main eventing the show. Amazing stuff. But it's only because it was Shawn Michaels. Who else? Oh, that's Rick Rude. I must say, who else is coming out here? This broke back Rick Rude at that. This is so over the top, bro. When the Montreal Screwjob happened, Rick Rude was like, nope, and went to WCW on the same night. Yeah, he was He was offended. He was one of those offended guys. He's pissed. I mean, I probably wouldn't have quit, but I'd have been pissed too, for sure. I think Foley tried to quit too. Who told Shawn Michaels to go with Sparkly Spartacus with his wrestling gear? And it's okay because it's Shawn Michaels all of a sudden. Put the studs on it. Everything. I don't know how he got into that, let alone how he's going to get out of it. I would have loved to sit Triple H down in like 1998 and say, I come from the future where you're going to find the skinniest, smallest motherfuckers to be the most entertaining guys in the world. Like, this is a wrestling show you booked, sir. And like, who is these tiny men? This was a guy who said that Kurt Angle was too small to wrestle him. This was like in 2001. Oh, Kurt Angle's too small. And then he pushing fucking Gargano. Yeah, this guy is obsessed with Tegan Knox all of a sudden. Beat it. This is the first legitimate pop in a really, really, really long time. Since the Road Warriors came out there, this is the first real pop. Otherwise, St. Louis has been asleep. Rightfully so. This show has not been very good. Not a very good produced show. Talent is, I mean, come on, headbangers. Midgets, for Christ's sake. Not good. This is what you call an attraction. I remember not knowing what the fuck I was getting into watching this. Because it seemed like it's just a regular cage match. You know, it's like, it's going to be a cage match. It is what it is. It's a cage match with extra steps. Nope. And it turned out to not be that at all. It's that now. But back then, nope. But at the same time, they had an interference in the very first one. You know, like they have these matches so that guys can't interfere with them. And then there was an interference in the very first one. They couldn't even stick to the goddamn gimmick for the first one. But they broke the gimmick for a good reason. They did a good job too, because none of the story is about Undertaker and Kane. It's all about Shawn Michaels and his turn towards the dark side. So they didn't even give you any foreshadowing that it was going to be about Kane tonight on this show. Oh, you know what I also loved about this era is they didn't beat matches to death. Shawn and Undertaker had 3 matches. They had the Ground Zero match, then they had this one, and then they had the casket match in Royal Rumble. And it wasn't a bunch of matches on Raw. They didn't work tag matches against each other. There wasn't 100 of these fucking matches where none of them stand out. And then these two guys did not touch for a decade. You know? They did not have another match until fucking, 2000. Maybe they did something in 2006, I think. There might have been something between the two of them in 2006. I think the Rumble, the first next time they really got into the ring against each other. So they didn't blow this feud out of proportion. Every match that they had was a good one. You know, unlike Randy Orton and John Cena, where they have a bunch of matches on Raw and, you know, of varying quality. They protected the storylines. There wasn't a bunch of Bret Hart Undertaker matches either. And part of that was because all of them were baby faces. They didn't fight each other that often. But it was also part of superior booking. where you knew you were going to do something like this, so you kept it as an attraction. So like they weren't wrestling each other 100 times. Shawn is selling the cage, which is something guys don't even do anymore. Like the Hell in a Cell happens so often now, they don't even sell the cage anymore. It's a really simple story. It's a horror movie. Shawn is trapped in a mansion with a monster, and he's running away. There's nowhere he can go, clearly, because we can see everywhere in the goddamn place. So, oh. Started out strong. Oh, Shawn is overselling too. This is great. He took one boot and took 2 bumps from the one boot. He's in HBK mode on this one. And he bounced off the he just bounced off the turnbuckle. You see China and Triple H just walking around outside the ring. There's not a lot of room for them to move around, so you can see them. Well, the camera guys, that's not Shawn. Like that's not a Hunter. I do enjoy that, despite the size difference, there was enough respect for Shawn that he could throw punches and Undertaker would actually sell them. Which you would think is kind of ridiculous because Undertaker is like an undead zombie guy. And Shawn's jabs, like Shawn couldn't break an edge of that fucking punch. But he's making them look good. Great clothesline too, by the way. It was excellent. Imagine if Rock only fought Austin once or twice between 98 and 2003. If they only wrestled at WrestleMania, probably would have been so much better. And there was no bunch of tag matches and dumb shit on Raw. And, they didn't fight every week, Like, that's what made the Bret Austin matches so good. There was not a lot of them. There was not 100 of those matches. There was probably one too many, but it was because they wrestled in Kuwait. But there wasn't like a bunch of those matches. So if you watched one on television, it was special, Coach Shawn, remember when WWE has Luce's Aggression tag teams like London and Kendrick, Deuce and Domino, La Resistance, and my personal favorite, Jesse and Festus. I hate all of those teams except Paul London and Brian Kendrick. I do not a big fan at all of Deuce and Domino. I think the gimmick was interesting, but I didn't like them. I didn't like those guys. Cherry was pretty cool. I think everybody liked Cherry for some reason. Have I done a Triple H and China video? Well, I've talked about China a lot on this channel. I don't know what you mean by a Triple H and China video. There's probably like 4 or 5 videos on China on this channel. I think London and Kendrick are one of the best tag teams, and it's not really respected because Paul London is a dickhead. I love their tag team title run from what was that, 06, 05, something like that. They were champions for a really long time too. Yeah, Deuce and Domino at least had characters, and so did Jesse and Festus. They was kind of like the modern day Godwins. They were just kind of country bumpkins. Jesse ended up being he was the son of I think Terry Gordy. Oh shit! His sister is a wrestler now, and they were trying to get her into WWE, but Michael Hayes said he wasn't going to just use his clout to get her in. She's kind of chunky too, but last time I saw her, she was in the NWA. I wouldn't be surprised if she don't show up and end up in there eventually. But They might do like they did Rachel Ellering, where she gets signed, but she ended up getting cut. Ruthless Aggression era had the highest amount of hot women in wrestling. Yeah, because they were going out of their way to find them. That's why. They actually went looking for hot women and was bringing them in. They were looking in they were looking in catalogs for hot women. You know, they were actually going out and actively searching for hot chicks. Wrestling nowadays, they find a hot chick, it's probably damn near by accident. Or she's on Instagram being a thought. Or she's like Nikita Lyons, where she's a little bit of everything. I love MVP. I don't know about that storyline with Matt Hardy though. It was okay. When they was playing basketball and stuff, it was like anything you can do, I can do better. It was okay. I was a big fan of MVP. I hate that his push stalled. Miz and Morrison was fun together too. The remix and like what was that 2020 was shit though. I think both of those guys have kind of grown out of that, and I don't know why they were still doing it. Undertaker's beating Shawn's ass as he should, of course, but he's methodically whipping his ass. It's not like trying to do anything too over the top. He's punishing this man. Look at that. That's an interesting spot. Oh, he ran him back first into the. JS says, I don't know why the MVP Matt Hardy feud is one of the few feuds I remember. I don't know. It's weird that what people remember from the time of what they were watching. Because there's stuff that from that when I was watching, I wasn't paying attention to that I don't remember at all. You know, I've watched wrestling almost nonstop since I came back, and I still don't remember certain people or certain events or certain matches or whatever because I didn't commit that stuff to memory. So somebody reminded me recently that Domino was a solo act for a little while, and I was like, "What? I don't remember that." You know, but I know that I remember Deuce. I believe it was he was. I think he was Jimmy Snuka's son. Oh, Undertaker throwing him from pillar to post. And look how Shawn sold it. Just melted into the floor. Candice, Michelle, Kelly, Melina, Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, Divas Division. Diva Search Women. Yeah, they went out of their way to find hot chicks. Candice Michelle was hot as fuck. She was still hot when they cut her. They got rid of her. She was so injury prone. People were talking about the Oscar Carmelo feud from a few years ago, and I don't remember it at all. I remember it because Carmelo beat Oscar, and I remember people being pissed about that because they wanted Oscar to be the absolute murder dog killer, and they did a thing where I think she had James Ellsworth in a shark cage, and she rammed Oscar's head into the shark cage and pinned her. And I think that was the finish, and I just remember how people reacted over that, like, "Oh my God, how could you?" And I think that it was basically a test. I think the same thing with Nakamura and Jinder Mahal, where basically Vince wanted to see if they were going to do business or what. And Asuka didn't mind putting over Carmella. It helped Carmella a little bit. She was trying to be the champion or whatever at the time. In retrospect, it wasn't a good idea, but it proved something that Asuka could do business and they could come up with a convincing way to beat her. I don't know if you ran your head against a metal cage, you might stay down for a 3 count too. That was interesting. That was an interesting time, bro. Oscar and Carmella. Ha! What a life. I'm always see. I'm not one of those people that also don't do deep dives into like. I think a lot of people who remember a lot of weird stuff are the kinds of people who like read the dirt sheets and they are constantly reminded of weird things that happened. And I'm not like I don't read dirt sheets. So when I go back and watch stuff like this, it's got to be straight off memory. That it make it more fun for me anyway. You know. Like I didn't remember this show being terrible when because I didn't even look up to see what the card was. I just knew like it's October. I knew this match was in October. I know it's a horror movie, so I was like, oh, let's watch that. And plus, it was like the last minute. NXT 2.0 is the highest amount of hot women WWE has had since the Ruthless Aggression era. I think that they were really doing a good job with the hot chicks then too, because the hot chicks came back, but they were wrestling. And then we got Nikita Lyons, who's probably the hottest chick they've had in a long time. I'm talking a long time. That girl was crazy. Yeah. Oof. Oh brother. Oh brother. I'm telling you, I don't even follow that girl. I see pretty much every day somebody posting something because she pretty much letting people have it every day. Oh, now Shawn got the steps right in the back. He was very delicate with those stairs too. You could look at him and tell that he kind of pulled up a little bit as he was coming down. But they're doing a good job here of making Shawn strong. Like he's taking a shitload of punishment. Oh my God! See, I watched. I tried to watch. I think it was. I forgot who the Chiefs were playing, but it seemed like every other play they were on Taylor Swift. I was like, I'm not going to do this. We ain't doing that. We're not going to sit here and do this Taylor Swift thing after every play. We're not doing that. You know, we're not about to play that game. Oh yeah, Jay Gentel. Oh, she's hot as fuck too, for sure. I mean, for sure. She's hot as hell. Absolutely. What is Shawn cussing out the cameraman for? He's just trying to get the shot, Shawn. Nice power driver too, by the way. It was kind of shitty, but it wasn't meant to be perfect. My man got a WWF shirt on, and he's trapped in the cell. Oh no! You know, this is. I guess the guys being inside the cell is not too bad. Compared to TNA, who cut a hole in the side of the damn cage so they could put cameraman in it. That's kind of bush league to me. I don't like the whole hole in the cage thing. That was terrible. Did I watch TNA in the prime mid to late 2000? Yeah. I started watching TNA in 2005 or 2006. It was still on Fox Sports Net. I stopped watching it when it moved to like Destination America, Pop TV. I wasn't watching it that much because I didn't have those networks. When it came back on Access, I started watching it again. I do remember the Raw guest host era. It was terrible. You know, I don't know why Vince goes through these. I mean, I know why he does it. You know, but it's one of those weird things that occurred. Like I talked about the other day, the weird 2 out of 3 falls conception that he did. Like we don't want to have wrestling during the commercials. Like, why not? What the whoa? Just put a chin lock on, for Christ's sake. Come on, why not? TNA drastically changed when it moved from Fox Sports Net to Spike. The storytelling elements changed, who they were pushing changed, everything changed. But that's because Spike was, spending more money on them, giving them more money, so they now were able to get more talent, better talent. But the creative did, I don't know if the creative improved. It was also very weird for them to be making more money and still doing stuff out of the Impact Zone. That was very weird. I love Earl Hebner. He's a great referee. Raw Underground, another weird thing Raw was doing for no reason out of nowhere. Whenever Raw is in a slump, they start doing weird stuff. Like, they don't do no weird shit now, except for all the Judgment Day stuff. But there's no gimmicks now. No 2 out of 3 falls. No, special guest host every week. No Raw Underground. It's no. What was the computer? The anonymous Raw general manager. Like, how weird was that? We actually lived through an era where people were listening to a computer, and that was it. Yeah, they got rid of the strippers after the first episode because Medusa complained. That hag. Interesting thing is, that hag, she was jealous and upset about it. The girls on the roster actually liked the strippers, and they wanted the strippers to come back. Liv Morgan actually went on record and said, where did the girls go? Oh, he just destroyed this cameraman. Shawn is so frustrated about these cameramen being in the ring. He don't know what to do with himself. He sucker punched the cameraman. That's the second cameraman he's pushed around in there, by the way. That guy's clearly a plant, but the first one I don't think was a plant. Yeah, we cut her leg. Man, look, what do you think she got that fucking deal for? She is, they're in a position where they do stuff like that. That's why I said before about, the professional activists. She still got a Legends contract and she works for like NWA. It's very weird. Have they even put her in the video game? I think she's in the video games, isn't she? Isn't Alundra Blaze in the video games? Yep, they got all the strippers fired. And they've been trying to get like the ringside girls and UFC fired, and trying to get rid of cheerleaders and all this kind of stuff. It's so dumb. Didn't listen to the girls. Again, Liv Morgan's on the fucking roster, and she's telling you she liked the girls, they were nice and all this kind of stuff. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we gotta take the girls out because Medusa complained. She being a whiny biatch. Well, she ain't been in the recent games? Oh, interesting. I wonder why. If Eric Bischoff wasn't such a bad boss, do you think WCW could have lived on? It ain't had nothing to do with him. It had 100% to do with Warner Brothers not wanting wrestling anymore after the merger. Jim Ross just took a shot at Randy Savage. Nobody's ever did the elbow drop as well as Shawn Michaels. I don't know about that one, brother. Shawn's got a good elbow drop, though. It is pretty good. 3 5-minute matches on one show. I'm actually okay with like short matches, though. I'm all right as long as they're squash matches. I'm okay with it. I don't want Fucking Shawn Michaels and Undertaker only have 6 minutes. You know, I don't want that. Oh shit! Undertaker just buried his finish. That was great. I forgot that even happened on here. Good reason for Shawn to run away. Good logical reason for Shawn to leave. And now action's going to pick up because now they're outside the cage. Now here comes the spot where Shawn about to stink up the joint and Blade right in front of the cameras like an idiot. But the referee was in the way, so they didn't see it. But the crowd saw it. But the crowd woke up too when they went outside the cage because now it's like it's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen now. Oh yeah, Shawn's busted. Shawn's bleeding for sure. You couldn't work this whole match without blood. But now this is where Shawn starts taking a hell of a lot of punishment. Lawn dart. Timestamp is 2 hours, 37 minutes, 50 seconds. Shawn just got his head rammed into the cage. Top Dog went back and watched old Raws, and it's weird to see Hogan on the early Raws. Yeah. You want to know what else was weird? When Bret was the champion and not on Raw at all. That was very weird. Hogan being on the early Raws is very weird too. But because most people didn't know that Hogan was still around when Raw started. But Bret Hart being the champion and not being on there at all. No, the curtain call was in '96. This was in '90s. This is '97. Because the curtain calls before Scott Hall and Diesel. They were there. Oh yeah, Shawn's climbing the cage. They did an excellent job of pacing this match and understanding there's only so much you can do inside the cage. So they going on top of it. This is the thing about these matches that makes them feel unpredictable. Like once they get out of the structure, anything can happen, bro. You know, try to power drive this man on top of the cage, and it didn't work. And blood droplets from Shawn's head is hitting the camera. Great shot. And the crowd is wide awake. People are standing up now. Look at that. Look at that visual. That's great visual storytelling right there. And Michaels is crawling. He's trying to do whatever to get away. This has been the entire story of the match, is Shawn trying to find a way to get away from the Undertaker. And him just taking tremendous amounts of punishment. I thought Team Hell No was fun, if we're being honest. I liked it. You got to give Shawn credit for doing all the bumps in this fucking match, though, man. He sold the fuck out this match. Here comes everybody's favorite part. I thought this was an interesting way to take the bump, like Shawn not taking it from the very top, but taking it from the middle. And Undertaker stomping the hands. What a spot. Poor Shawn. Poor Shawn. Oh yeah, he's broken in half, all right. And he's tangled up in all the shit. Yeah, Shawn is wrapped up in all these cords and everything. This is a disaster, bro. It's looking real bad for Heartbreak Kid, man. He can't get loose. And he got thrown over the poor Raymond. Raymond was just getting harassed all night, for Christ's sake. What X? Oh my God! I didn't even notice he bench pressed him to the floor. Jerry Lawler is begging somebody to help Shawn. Somebody's got to do something. You would have thought that Triple H and China would have come out there, now that they're outside the ring, but they don't even show up. At least I haven't seen them yet. And Undertaker's taking his time. He's not in a rush. He got all the time in the world. Shawn's just running away. But he can't run too far. That was the great thing about this. He's not in a rush at all. Shawn's just crawling. This is expert selling, and he finds his way back into the cage. The Crimson Mask. Yeah, he took such a beating. This is a GOAT performance from Shawn, for Christ's sake, bro. Who's going to volunteer to go in there and take all those fucking bumps? He should have been mad at Hogan for politicking. Yeah. Chokeslam from the top rope. He's killing this man. Shawn is taking way too many bumps in this match, dog. You at this point, you're like, there's no way he's winning this match, right? There's just no possible way, no logical way that Shawn Michaels is going to win this match. And that's exactly what you were supposed to think. There's just no logical way for Shawn Michaels to win this match. He's getting the beating of a lifetime. And now he's going to get sweet poetic justice. He's about to get tagged with this fucking chair. Fantastic. He's got theme music already, guys. That's gotta be Kane. Why do I gotta be? Expert storytelling. Bump the ref. This is a straight up Deus Ex Machina finish, though. With Kane coming out of nowhere to save Shawn Michaels. This is Deus Ex Machina, but it's all right. Great finish. You don't know where the hard camera is. There we go. Boo. Boo. One tombstone. One tombstone. That's a big motherfucker, man. That's a big guy. That's a big guy. I'm telling you, bro, I did not know what I was looking at when I first saw this. I didn't know what to think or why I was thinking it. But it was definitely one of those things where your head was in your hands and you was like, oh no. Oh no. And Shawn Michaels. After all of that, Shawn still wins. With no help from Triple H or China. And Triple H comes out with no shirt on. Why is he not wearing a shirt? What was he doing? And look how he's selling it, though. They dragging him out of the ring, bro. He can't even stand up on his own. This is great. The great selling, cinematography of the whole thing, everything. In terms of how it was shot with Kane. Undertaker dead after one tombstone, which is nuts to think about it, but, you know. You're supposed to reflect, not analyze. People are throwing shit at Shawn, by the way. He's getting hit in the chest with, like, paper and stuff. Somebody just threw something at his head. Shawn and Brett. Triple H is getting hit with stuff, too, by the way. Because people are trying to hit Shawn with stuff. What made this even better is that this was not a Shawn Michaels plan. This was Shawn Michaels being the beneficiary of good fortune, which makes it even more of a heel move because he didn't create a plot in which Kane would come out here. It was straight up a how fortuitous that I would survive this whole ordeal. And it helps that they've shown you the entire match that Shawn is pretty much, he's not indestructible, but he's tough. And now they go to the drama of Undertaker in the ring by himself. Incredibly intelligent stuff to get Shawn out of the ring early. But they gave Shawn his face time. And he sold instead of smiling and shitting and grinning. He was basically a corpse. And now Undertaker got to stumble and be confused. This was tremendous. Fantastic main event on an otherwise garbage show. What a tremendous main event that was. Shawn and Undertaker, masterclass in babyface heel dynamic. Storytelling, big versus small. They told every version of story in that match. You know, and there's a lot of different elements that you can look at. Like I said, it's the monster versus the civilian, big man, little man, including the Undertaker and Kane element, which is the Paul Bearer story of sort of the Frankenstein's monster is, you know, set loose on the citizens. You know, there's a lot of really cool shit in that match. You know, and personal in term stories of Shawn basically running away from Undertaker the entire match, taking a tremendous amount of punishment, and still managing to survive. It was amazing match. Is this match similar to Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood without Evolution helping Triple H? I hated that match. I hate that match so much. That's the 45-minute Hell in a Cell match, right? I remember, because I remember I didn't watch that stuff. So when I got that pay-per-view, I was like, I've never heard of Shawn and Triple H having a Hell in a Cell match. And then I watched it and I was like, I know why now nobody talks about it. This match is long as shit. That match is entirely too long. Undertaker and Shawn had some fantastic matches. Yeah. The Ground Zero match is really good too. I haven't watched the casket match in a while. But Shawn and Undertaker, they really didn't miss, you know. And you know what? That's all Vince cared about. Vince only cared about people remembering the end of this show. Because clearly if you watched it, he only cared about the main event. The effort, all the creative effort was put into the main event. Yes, there was some shenanigans with Brian Pillman dying. You couldn't do nothing about that. But what they chose to do with the Intercontinental Championship, very weird. Two heels wrestle each other for an extended period of time. The midgets, very odd. The flag match, didn't like that. You know, so it was clear that he didn't want anything to overshadow the main event, to overshadow Kane's reveal. That's what he wanted. That was the lasting image he wanted in your mind. It was Undertaker on the ground, confused and dazed. Shawn won. Kane did his dirt and then left. So now you're going into Raw. What the fuck was that? It's got to be Kane, right? And what if it's not Kane? What if it's somebody else? What if it's Undertaker, Kane's other brother? Who knows? But you're asking questions going into the next night. Shawn's got something he can talk about, and you've already set up Shawn and Brett, which is a heel program, but we're not going to concern ourselves with that right now. We're not going to concern ourselves with the fact that Shawn and Brett was a heel program at the time. Excellent storytelling in that main event. Can't speak for the rest of the card. It was kind of basura, but it was a very good main event. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the watch along. Thank you guys for your time. 3 hours into this thing. I think I've held you long enough. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. Next time we're going to do something else. We're probably going to do another. I might actually put the poll up sooner. I know I took it a long time this time, but next month is November. So we'll probably have Survivor Series, War Games, different things like that on the docket for us to look into. And I appreciate it. Thank you all for your time. Thank everybody for coming in. Hopefully everybody who's still here, hit the like button. I would appreciate that very much if you're listening. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.